Hi, today we'll deal with setting up evening lighting. It's about an hour after sunset. Not a downright night because night lighting is a rare thing to set in architectural visualization. Most often, this is evening lighting with the dark blue contrast sky and warm light in the house. It brings good contrast between cold and warm. So I picked several references. It looks like this. There can be evening lighting and daylight when there's no sun. So that is after sunset. Such a bright warm light may be inside the house, maybe darker outside, but bright lighting may be inside the house. It may be this type of evening lighting or this one. I choose this reference and I'll rely on it when working. I like a dark blue cold color of the sky here. The sky is clear and warm light shines in the house. The house architecture is similar to our house. There may be night lighting too, but it's used rarely. I had just one case with the lighting for a client. He sent a reference and outlined what I needed to do it. But this kind of lighting is not good because we can see only the interior inside the house. It's mostly in the shadow if there's no backlight. And we can't show all the beauty and details, the facade and architecture at nighttime. That's why it is used much rarer. Most often, these are atmospheric references for some special mood. So clients most often order this lighting. I did a little work on the content of the house. Did it in our scene. Put furniture items in the house, added lighting, lamps, chandeliers. We need them to turn on different light sources in the evening, and I decided to fill the house with furniture as well. I think it won't be hard for you to arrange various pieces of furniture and decoration in your scene, so we'll skip this step. Let's decide on what camera we're gonna set this lighting scheme in. I believe that it's the fourth camera. It fits best because there's a fireplace here which will give a warm yellow light. There's also a big ceiling chandelier, plus we light the building from the inside. So let's start with setting up the sky. And then we'll set up the warm light inside the house. So let's go ahead and go to render settings. We'll press F10. Check MTL override box, and in the Corona tab, select Corona Legacy AMT. Check the light material and glass material boxes in preserve. We want to check displacement, it's no use to overload the scene. Enable the lock so that only this camera renders. And we'll leave all other settings unchanged. Don't close this window, go to Material Editor and Compact Mode and upload Corona Sky. Let's run interactive to make sure that all lightings are off. All lights are off. Only light materials are on, but they don't give light. Select Raw Fake mode and Sky model. And this lesson will set up the lighting in Raw Fake mode because it's more flexible and you can pick shades directly from our reference and to our scene. Let's switch to single map mode. We can upload lighting map as we did it before. Or we can upload it right in the Corona render settings. Copy. Our map is uploading. We can keep this preview so that observe what shades are generated. Let's decrease intensity. For example, set it to 0.1 because it's evening after all, or maybe it's too much even. Let's set it to 0.05, exposure to 0. That's good. Let's compare it to our reference by shade and light. It's similar, but we still have to adjust it. Let's change ground color. Let's make it dark, actually, because it will be seen here, but then there'll be a thicker forest and we will cover the background with something. Maybe there'll be a forest land. We'll come up with something. Zenith color is in the topmost point of lighting. I take the color from our reference, horizon color, right here. In the process, we'll adjust it. Let me move the reference to the second monitor to make it more comfortable. To pick color, so zenith color, let's take the color with this black tool from a reference, this one. You can lower saturation a little and make it a little brighter. For horizon color, something like this. Generally, that's the way we need it. Let's get the reference back. Looks good. And now let's adjust it a little. Let's add Corona color correction to make it easier for us to work with color. We've already set it up, and now it remains to raise the exposure a bit. And it's important that you need to load the Corona color correction map in this slot, because here we have Corona sky and we need Corona sky map, which is corrected in Corona color correction, otherwise there'll be no changes. Let's increase exposure as well. No change for some reason. Okay, done. I need to click single map again. Corona freezes for some reason. Okay, so let's increase saturation. And let's also compare to our reference. It's about the same, but I probably overdid saturation. Let's set it to 0.02. And let's adjust hue and saturation. Let's add a bit of warmth, like this. Look, there's a glow to the right. The sun hasn't gone down yet. That's why we see a slight shade of light. We can do the same in our scene. Let me switch to top view. Select Corona Sun and create the sun at this point. It should be very low. We see a small glow already. Great. But intensity should be very low. I've set it to 0.05 and the lighting is 4500 in Kelvin. I made the sun size bigger to make shadows less visible. Shadows should be more soft and subtle. So let's make intensity less to have a directionality of light. Here intensity stronger and here there's more shadow. But still, let's set it to 0.4. This is fine. Let's compare it to our reference. This gradient is in the reference Also, here we have a shadow, and here is much lighter. Now we need to turn on the lighting inside our house, and let's stop the interactive. And for a start, put lamps in our house. Let's switch to perspective mode. Okay. Look. So there are these spots in the ceiling, and we'll put there a source of Corona light to create Corona light. We can click the Corona light button on the toolbar, or similarly we can hit create, select Corona and Corona light. Here we select disk and create a round lamp. Put it in the center, and now raise it to about this high. Let's put it under our spot like this. Now we'll multiply these sources in instance mode so that when we change settings on one source, they change in all others, which are in instance mode. We'll set up lighting step by step. Let's set it up here. For this end, I enable interactive. Select this part with the region, and let's set up lighting in this part. You can check visible directly and visible on refraction boxes. Enable lumen mode. And I'm gonna tell you about the settings of Corona light. If you don't know, the on box enables and disables light. Target, it's a target, appears. Using it, we can direct light from the light source. We can move it. And next, you adjust intensity. It can be here in lumen, lux, candle, and watt. And there's a difference between watts and lumens. If you set it to watts, the bigger your light source, the more intensity it shines and the softer shadows it gives. So light intensity depends on the size. If your lighting is in lumen, it doesn't depend on your lamp. Let's set it to lumen. And next, color. You can set direct input manually. You can set in Kelvin and upload a map. And the slot, sphere, square, disc, and cylinder. Next we have radius, height, and number of segments. I advise against changing the number of segments because it affects noises. Directionality is the directionality of light from your lamp. Diffuser will shrink, generating concentrated bunch-like light. Let me show you how it works. I set it to 0.5 and we see comfortable directed rays. Let's put it back to 0. We can turn the light on from the other side. So now it shines from the top downward, but when we enable emit on both sides, it shines from the opposite side of the lamp as well. You can enable the frame display in the viewport. We can check light lister, but we don't need it now. In the next tab, you can enable or exclude some objects so that this light does not illuminate them. The visibility, I already talked about this. And you can upload IES files. Let's upload IES file of some interesting shape and use Project Manager. And let's search for something. Let's pick this simple but yet interesting IES file. We can make it wider. That's it. think that will look good. And we need to set the intensity. Because the light is dim now, set it to 3000. Generally looks pretty good. Let's increase it by 200. And now it looks good. Let's turn this chandelier and that fireplace on and see how external outdoor light looks like. And then go to interior light inside. Let's hang small spheres under the lamps. It will imitate light from every bulb. We'll create this sphere. Raise it to the height of our chandelier. And also put it above the bulb so that there are no intersections with geometry to avoid problems. Now we need to multiply sphere in a circle. But to save time and not to do it manually, let's go to this tab, enable effect pivot only, and now you can move the pivot of this object. Let's put it in the center of the chandelier, right here. Disable effect pivot only button. Turn on rotation, and holding the shift, we copy spheres. And let's set the number of bulbs, let's say 13. Alright, there's a slight shift, but it's not critical. This way we place the lamps much faster. We'll leave it like this. Okay, excellent. And now let's put some kind of lamp right here by our fireplace. We'll also make it spherical. We already had a lamp here in geometry, but I turned it off, and let's add a new light source. Okay, that's it. Now enable interactive and set up lighting. We'll approach this process consistently. Don't turn on all the lights at once. It'll be hard to set it. Let's move on to setting up Fireplace. Let's set the temperature to about 2300 Kelvin. And let's increase the intensity to 5000. Actually, let's make it 8000. I'll do 6. Okay. Uncheck visibility directly and visible on refractions because we'll have a fire in the fireplace. Now let's set up our chandelier. Also uncheck these. I want to make the light warmer, so let's compare it with the reference. This is what the light will look like. It looks alright now. We'll set the temperature to 4200 in Kelvin and intensity to 4500. I think that's enough. Now let's set up the lighting in this room. And then we'll move on to this one and finish right here. Close interactive. Copy these IES, which were in the spotlights, and put them in the bathroom. Let's disable the target. And that's it. Let's make it in copy mode so that we can set them separately. Check the height to see if they intersect with the ceiling. They probably don't. I'll lower them a bit. And we'll multiply them. Let's make 4 copies in instance mode. Enable interactive again using hotkey so that I don't have to go to Corona render settings. And enable interactive every time. I select this place with the region. This is what we get. We need to increase intensity, because if you look at the reference, there's bright light in the house. Let's pick another IES file. Maybe something more concentrated. I'm looking for something else, maybe a wider one. Let's check it out. Probably yes. Let's leave this IES file, only I'll raise the intensity. Okay, let's keep it. And let's move on to this room. This is quite a high room, and in theory, chandelier should illuminate it, but I didn't put a chandelier there and decided to illuminate it with the same IES file. The ceiling won't be seen so much and it won't be a problem, but if necessary, we'll add a chandelier later, if it looks beautiful. Okay, take the same IES file. I'm working from the top view, and interactive is on, but it doesn't switch to top view because we locked it. Let's put IES file here. Now we need to raise it to the ceiling. Let's see where it is now. Raise it higher. Put IES files on the ceiling this way. Now I make several copies. I'll make 4 copies, should be enough. That's it. Good light. Now, to make it possible to select only light in the scene, we can go to the Filters tab and select the light selection mode. Select these spotlights and copy them to another part of the room. Okay, great. Looks good. Let's place light and these lamps above the kitchen table. Although we don't see it, we can put lighting there as well to get rid of this dark corner. Let's select a sphere and place it right here. Let's place it right in the lamp. We'll make copies somewhere here. Okay, good. We slightly reduce the intensity because these lamps should not shine too bright, but highlight a dark place in the room. Let's make the lighting in this room a little stronger, because we can see that the light is much brighter in the reference. Let's set it to 13,000 lumens. Good. Let's increase it to 15. Yes, that's it. And we probably still have a connection with these lights. It's not very good. Yes, that's it. Let's delete these 3 lights now. And let's do this without tying to these lights, which are in another room. To do this, click Make Unique button, and now it's untied. And now let's uncopy it again, but in instance mode. And we'll reduce intensity because there's no need for such a high intensity. That's how nice it looks. Let's deal with lighting in this back room now. Basically, light is not very noticeable there, but let's do it anyway. I believe these 3 lights are enough. Should notice that something shines there. You can reduce intensity to 4000 lumens. This is good. And we need to eliminate this part, which is visible in the view. Let's copy sources and copy mode. Let's see position of the spheres so that they don't intersect with the ceiling. Lower them. Let's place them between beams and make a few copies. So now we have ourselves a very interesting light. We can enable a beautiful IES file. So let's pick one. Maybe this one. And set intensity to 8,500 or even more. Let's set it to 10,000. Not bad. We can make it a bit different from the rest of the lighting. Let's set it to 4000 Kelvin to have some diversity and not the same lighting in the whole house. Let's set it to 3500. Okay, that's better. Now let's set the sky a little. It should be darker. Let's compare to the reference. There are darker areas there. So we'll go to Corona Sky. And we'll set intensity to 0.03. And we'll raise contrast. You can set it to 2 or even 3. Looks good already. And you can do the following thing. You can copy our Corona Sky into a new slot and change the sky in the background. We'll correct the background a little bit so that it looks more like the reference. Copy in instance mode. And I want to decrease gamma. Set it to 0.9. Very good. Increase saturation a little bit. And that's it. Now the sky is the same, like in our reference, although we're missing some clouds. We can correct horizon color as well, so that this glow becomes lighter. That's it. And a bit warmer. Okay. Let's also decrease gamma a little. Select the exposure value. And generally it looks nice. If you want to have a warmer picture, but you don't want to change lighting, or on the contrary, you have a colder picture, you can change the value of the white balance. When you increase it, the picture becomes warmer, and when you decrease it, it gets colder. Let's make it a bit warmer. Okay, nice. It looks like the reference we selected. So that's the lighting we've set. We've got a good contrast scheme where you can set a nice evening atmosphere. Show the interior inside the house in such a way that these glass reflections don't get in the way. That's a good way to set a certain atmosphere, to make a client like it. There you have it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next lesson.